Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're jumping headfirst into a story that completely flips the script on your classic reincarnation fantasy. Seriously, we're talking about a high-stakes, ridiculously fast-paced survival thriller following the chaotic and desperate journey of Moon Campbell. Look, this isn't your standard hero's journey where the main guy grabs an overpowered sword and breezes through the plot. No way. This is about a guy just desperately trying to survive in a world where literally everyone else is the main character, and he's slated to be the tragic early-game villain.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Just imagine for a second. You wake up one day, look around, and realize you've reincarnated into the body of an arrogant, blonde noble named Moon Campbell. And then, the pure dread sets in. You realize you're trapped in a story universe where every single leading female character has world-shattering abilities. And your character? Well, Moon is historically destined to be an absolute loser. A stepping stone villain who gets exiled, turns into a beggar, and is completely forgotten about like 20 chapters in. That is the terrifying reality our guy wakes up to.
See, in the original plot, Moon is basically a low-level mob. He commits terrible crimes against these legendary heroes, gets his plans completely wrecked, and his life is ruined. But now that a modern, intelligent guy has taken over his body, his new goal is honestly pretty simple: just survive. He wants to change his fate, avoid ticking off these insanely powerful women, and live a nice, peaceful life. To put it in gaming terms, he's basically a level 1 player trying to navigate a map packed with level 99 bosses who all already have a reason to hate his guts.
And the reason he's so terrified makes total sense. The women in this world, take the Ice Princess for example, they don't just have strong magic. They wield what's known as divine authority. These are literal God-granted game-breaking powers. The Ice Princess got hers from a cold goddess, meaning her growth is virtually limitless. You cannot beat that kind of power with sheer effort or, basic swordsmanship. And Moon, zero divine authority. He's got a trash-tier light spell. The power disparity here is it's staggering.
Section 1. The First Trial, the Ice Princess Banquet. So, it's Moon's 18th birthday. This is the exact night the original Moon sealed his dark fate by trying to drug the Ice Princess Celia. His new plan? Just be polite, don't do anything shady, and get through the night so he can keep his cushy, rich lifestyle. But changing fate is never that simple, right? Hour 1. He actually pulls off a polite, albeit super awkward, dance with the terrifying princess. Not bad. But by hour 2, things go completely off the rails. He tries to serve her regular tea, gets startled, and accidentally spills an aphrodisiac into it. She drinks it, passes out, and suddenly Moon looks exactly like the sleazy villain he was trying so hard not to be. She wakes up furious, pinning him down with freezing magic. But right as he's about to be killed, hour 3 hits. A maid suddenly bursts into the room, revealing herself as a highly skilled assassin targeting the princess. This assassin unleashes gravitational magic and dark god summons, completely cornering the exhausted Ice Princess. And here's where things get wild. When the assassin lunges for the finishing blow on the princess, Moon literally jumps in front of the blade. He tanks a fatal, bloody hit head-on. No magical defense, no blocking, just pure, reckless courage. And this single action completely shifts the dynamic. He barely survives, but in doing so, he actually earns the genuine respect and protection of the Ice Princess. He did it. He avoided his doomed fate, or, so he thinks.
Now, what's really interesting here is the twist, the headmaid's twisted trap.
Because this is the exact moment the story pulls a massive genre shift straight into a psychological thriller. Moon wakes up in bed, recovering, totally thinking he just outsmarted his tragic destiny. But he severely underestimated someone right under his nose. Anne, the seemingly sweet, devoted headmaid of the Campbell family. Guys, Anne isn't just a maid, she is deeply, terrifyingly obsessed with Moon. After slipping him some drugged tea, she finally drops the act. Listen to this chilling quote. "I'll take care of everything tonight. Head to toe, inside and out. Your body, your soul, all of it will belong to me." Just let that sink in for a second. Moon realizes with absolute horror that the one destined to orchestrate his true downfall wasn't the world's protagonist or the Ice Princess, it was his own maid.
Next thing he knows, he wakes up bound in a secret underground room. We're talking about a magically sealed dungeon forged from pure steel, bolted straight into the wall. Anne has completely isolated him, casually telling the rest of the household that Moon went off to an academy to study. The claustrophobia here is immense. He is completely, totally at the mercy of a captor who could knock him out with a single, effortless strike.
So the crucial point is the grind, the Book of Infinite Deaths. How on earth does a powerless guy escape an overpowered captor in an inescapable room?
Enter his one and only cheat item, a mysterious black book. But this isn't some instant win button. Instead, it yanks his consciousness into a simulated training space where he fights phantom enemies to learn their skills. 185. That is the number of times Moon dies in the simulation loop, in a single night. 185 brutal, agonizing deaths just to survive 30 seconds against a phantom opponent. It's an absolute meat grinder, but it highlights his ultimate grit. He feels the pain of every single death, but he just keeps throwing his mind back in, because it is literally his only path to gaining any combat skills.
So you have this insane contrast. On the outside, Moon is incredibly vulnerable, bedridden, locked in steel cuffs, pretending to be utterly broken and submissive just to appease Anne. But inside his mind, through the book, he is relentlessly leveling up assassin-tier abilities, shadow step, dagger combat, you name it. He is secretly building a lethal arsenal, all while putting on the acting performance of a lifetime in the real world.
And to really understand the sheer scale of what Moon is up against, just look at what Anne does on a basic grocery run. To make Moon happy, Anne travels to Lake Binshore to fetch him a very specific seasonal fish. While she's out there, a monarch-level beast emerges. This is a catastrophic boss entity that a full party of high-level adventurers is completely failing to defeat. Anne gets annoyed that the monster is scaring away her fish, casually manipulates some liquid metal, forges a massive sword in midair, and one-shots the boss. She slaughters a natural disaster just to finish her grocery shopping. That is the monster Moon is trying to outsmart.
And this brilliantly illustrates our climax, the fishbone escape. Moon knows for a fact he cannot overpower Anne. He has to outsmart her using the absolute slimmest of margins. So he manipulates her into bringing him that exact Lake Bipor fish, complaining about his meals just enough to make it happen. Why? Because he needs the bones. This whole escape attempt turns into something like high-stakes bomb defusal. Step 1, he hides 4 fragile fish bones in his mouth during dinner without Anne noticing a thing. Step 2, the second she leaves, he uses those bones as makeshift lockpicks. He has to manually lift 12 incredibly complex magical lock pins to the exact millimeter. Step 3, avoid the traps. If a single fragile fish bone snaps inside that lock, Anne will know instantly and he is dead. He uses his newly acquired hard-earned knowledge from the Black Book to painstakingly pick a pure steel lock.
And incredibly, the lock clicks. He's out. But look at the reality of this escape. He's scrambling through a filthy, pitch-black, abandoned wing of his own massive mansion. His body is completely exhausted from captivity. He has basically zero mana, absolutely zero backup, and he's being hunted by an overpowered, relentless pursuer who, again, can level a lake with a flick of her wrist. The tension is suffocating. He's just stumbling through the dark, desperately casting a tiny light spell to find his way out.
He thinks he's made it far enough. He really thinks he actually has a chance. But then, a knife violently slams into the wall mere inches from his head, and from the dark, dusty shadows of the corridor, Anne's calm, terrifying voice whispers that she found him. So, how do you escape the inescapable when the monster is already in the room with you? That is the massive, edge-of-your-seat cliffhanger we're leaving off on today. Moon Campbell's desperate journey shows us that sometimes leveling up isn't about saving the world, it's just about living to see tomorrow. Thanks for checking out this explainer, and stay curious.